In a quiet neighborhood filled with laughter and the sounds of children playing, lived a woman named Karen. She was known by everyone as the grumpy neighbor. With her thick glasses perched on her nose and often wearing a frown, she had a tendency to shout at the kids playing outside. Her biggest pet peeve: sidewalk chalk. To Karen, those colorful drawings created by little hands were nothing more than graffiti. On a warm Saturday afternoon, as the sun shone bright overhead, groups of children gathered on the sidewalk near her house, their imaginations running wild as they drew rainbows, dragons, and flowers with vibrant chalk. They giggled together, enjoying the simple pleasure of creating art on an open canvas. But their fun was cut short when Karen stormed out of her house. "Stop that right now," she bellowed, pointing at the colorful creations. "This is not a canvas for your nonsense. You're ruining the neighborhood with this graffiti." The kids froze in shock, their smiles fading away as they looked at each other in confusion. While some children walked away in tears, others stood their ground, unsure of why their harmless art made Karen so angry. In that moment, the joy of creation felt threatened by someone who didn't understand the beauty of expression. Little did they know that change was just around the corner, waiting to burst forth like the colors on their sidewalk canvas. Despite Karen's harsh words, the neighborhood kids had an unbreakable spirit and a deep love for art. Every sunny afternoon became an adventure as they gathered on the sidewalks, their imaginations flowing freely like the chalk in their hands. They would often forget about time, lost in a world of colors where rainbows arched across the pavement and dragons roared to life in vibrant blues and greens. With each piece of chalk, they created fantastical scenes filled with flowers that seemed to dance under the sun and butterflies that fluttered along imaginary paths. Their laughter echoed through the neighborhood as they shared stories about their creations, each drawing telling a unique tale. To them, these colorful masterpieces were not just scribbles, they were expressions of friendship and fun. As the children worked side by side, they encouraged one another with cheers and compliments. "That flower is amazing," one would shout, while another would respond with giggles, "Look at my sparkly dragon." The joy of creating art brought them closer, allowing them to bond over their shared love for color and creativity. Even after Karen's outburst, the kids remained undeterred. They understood that art was a way to brighten their world and share happiness with others. Little did they know that soon, their passion for creativity would transform not only their afternoon activities but also how everyone viewed their vibrant sidewalk creations. One sunny afternoon, the neighborhood kids were deeply engrossed in their artwork, turning the sidewalk into a colorful masterpiece. Laughter filled the air as they added the finishing touches to their drawings of flowers, butterflies, and even a few silly monsters. Suddenly, the joyful atmosphere was shattered when Karen burst out of her house like a storm cloud. "Enough of this nonsense," she yelled, her voice echoing down the street. The children looked up in shock, their crayons and chalk dropping to the ground. "This is not your canvas. You're ruining our neighborhood with this graffiti." The kids exchanged confused glances, their smiles fading as they processed her words. They had never thought of their art as anything but fun. "But we're just playing," one young girl said softly, her eyes welling with tears. A few others nodded, feeling the weight of Karen's anger pressing down on them. Karen continued her rant, pointing at their drawings with disdain. "You need to respect property. This is not how we keep our streets clean." Her loud complaints hung in the air like a heavy fog, leaving the children feeling small and disheartened. After she returned to her house, a silence settled over the group. Some kids picked up their chalk and started drawing again, but it wasn't the same. The joy that once filled their hearts was replaced with disappointment and confusion over why something so innocent had drawn such harsh criticism. Little did they know that this moment would soon lead to an unexpected turn of events that would change everything. After the confrontation with Karen, the children felt defeated, but one dad, Mr. Thompson, couldn't shake off the sadness etched on their faces. His daughter Lily was one of the young artists who loved to draw. Seeing how Karen's words had dimmed their bright spirits inspired him to think of a way to spread joy instead of negativity. Determined to make a statement, Mr. Thompson decided to hire a professional chalk artist named Mia Williams. He had seen her incredible work online and thought her talent could turn the tide of how art was viewed in their neighborhood. Over coffee that evening, he reached out to Mia and explained the situation, sharing his vision for what he hoped to achieve. "Let's create something beautiful right in front of Karen's house," he said excitedly. "A massive mural filled with flowers and butterflies. It will brighten the street and show everyone that art brings happiness." Mia was thrilled by the idea and immediately began brainstorming designs. She explained how she could transform the sidewalk into an explosion of color that would capture everyone's attention, leaving viewers in awe of its beauty. The following weekend, early in the morning while the sun peeked over the horizon, Mia arrived with her supplies, eager to start. As she laid out colors and began sketching her vision, residents started to gather around, curious about what was happening. Excitement bubbled in the air as people whispered and pointed, ready for a surprising spectacle that would challenge Karen's negative outlook on art. As the sun began to rise on the day of the mural painting, Mia Williams was filled with energy and excitement. She had already met with Mr. Thompson a few days prior to discuss ideas and gather inspiration for the mural. Over steaming cups of coffee, they brainstormed themes that would not only captivate the neighborhood but also send a powerful message about art and joy. Mia shared her vision for a sprawling mural filled with colorful flowers blooming in every shade of the rainbow, alongside butterflies fluttering in vibrant hues. "Each butterfly can represent a child's creativity," she explained, her eyes sparkling. "And the flowers will symbolize hope and happiness. Together, they will create a beautiful landscape that encourages everyone to appreciate art." Mr. Thompson loved the idea, picturing how the mural could transform the drab concrete into a canvas of positivity. On the morning of the event, Mia arrived equipped with a variety of chalk pastels and tools, ready to bring her vision to life. She began by sketching outlines on the sidewalk, deftly transforming blank spaces into an explosion of color. As she worked, she carefully thought about the placement of each flower and butterfly, making sure they complemented each other perfectly. As word spread throughout the neighborhood, curious onlookers started to gather, watching Mia's skilled hands at work. Families stopped by with smiles, eager to see how this vibrant mural would evolve right before their eyes, unaware of how it would impact their view of art in public spaces. As Mia put the final touches on the mural, a sense of anticipation filled the air. The vibrant colors of the flowers shimmered in the sunlight, while the butterflies seemed almost alive with their intricate details. Neighbors had gathered in larger numbers, eyes wide with wonder as they admired the breathtaking transformation happening right before them. At last, Mia stepped back and smiled at her work. The mural was complete. It was a sight to behold, stretching across the sidewalk as a patchwork of color and life directly in front of Karen's house. Mr. Thompson stood beside her, pride evident in his eyes as he took in the beauty of what they had created together. "Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you a celebration of creativity," Mia announced dramatically, drawing applause from the crowd. Children clapped their hands in delight, their previous disappointment forgotten as joy surged through them once more. Parents snapped photographs, eager to capture this moment of community spirit and positivity. Curiosity turned into excitement as people began to share the mural on social media, quickly spreading its presence beyond their neighborhood. "Look at this amazing art," one person exclaimed as another chimed in, "It's so beautiful, we need more art like this everywhere." As the mural gained attention online, Karen stepped out of her house, her expression a mix of confusion and anger. She couldn't ignore the crowd gathering or the vibrant colors illuminating her front yard. For the first time, she found herself confronted with art that demanded attention, a stark contrast to her previous views on sidewalk chalk. Karen stood on her porch, her jaw clenched in disbelief as she stared at the mural sprawled across the sidewalk. The vibrant colors that delighted the children and neighbors filled her with fury instead. "This is unacceptable," she shouted, hands on her hips. She felt as if the world was laughing at her disdain for sidewalk art, and it fueled her anger. Determined to rid her front yard of the colorful spectacle, Karen marched into her garage to fetch cans of paint. "I'll cover this mess," she proclaimed loudly, ignoring the concerned glances from neighbors watching. Armed with rollers and brushes, she began slapping gray paint over the flowers and butterflies, desperate to erase what she deemed an eyesore. But no matter how hard she tried, the bright hues peeked through, mocking her efforts. Frustrated and overwhelmed, Karen then turned to complaints, contacting city officials and reporting Mia's mural as graffiti. "It's ruining property values," she insisted over the phone, but the authorities informed her that it was a public artwork created with permission. As word spread about her attempts to obliterate the mural, many in the community rallied around Mia's creation even more fervently. Social media buzzed with support for the mural, sharing photos and stories about how it had transformed their neighborhood into a vibrant space of joy. Each failed attempt by Karen only fueled their determination to celebrate art in their community, leaving Karen feeling isolated and increasingly frustrated as she realized she couldn't control this colorful change. As the days went by, the mural began to capture the hearts of many beyond just the local community. Social media lit up with posts featuring photos of Mia's stunning artwork, showcasing the vibrant flowers and butterflies that had transformed the gray sidewalk into a lively canvas. Hashtags like #ArtInPublicSpaces and #CommunityJoy started trending, as people from neighboring towns shared their admiration for the mural. Comments flooded in from all corners, with many expressing how the mural had brightened their day. "This is exactly what our neighborhood needed," one user wrote, while another added, "Art should be everywhere. It makes life so much more beautiful." The conversation sparked discussions about the importance of art in public spaces, emphasizing how creativity can foster community spirit and connection. People began sharing their own stories about public art and how it impacted their lives. Some recounted experiences of murals that had inspired them to get involved in community projects, while others talked about how art brought people together in times of need. Meanwhile, Karen watched from her porch as the online buzz grew louder, her frustration mounting with each notification on her phone. She felt increasingly outnumbered by those celebrating Mia's creation and advocating for the role of art in their daily lives. What she once dismissed as an eyesore was now a symbol of unity and joy. The mural's viral success served as a reminder that art could bring light to even the grumpiest corners of the world, sparking hope and creativity among those who embraced it. As support for the mural grew, children in the neighborhood felt inspired to share their own artistic talents. The vibrant flowers and butterflies painted on the sidewalk became a beacon of creativity, encouraging kids to pick up their chalk and start making their own masterpieces. Soon, groups of children were gathering in various public spaces, drawing everything from animals to fantastical landscapes, filling the sidewalks with color and imagination. Residents who had initially been hesitant about street art began to rally around these young artists, appreciating the joy and energy they brought to the community. Parents organized playdates centered on art, where kids would come together to create together in parks and on driveways. They shared supplies, ideas, and laughter, while bonding over their shared love for creativity. Local businesses noticed the change as well. Cafes and shops started displaying artwork created by children, and some even hosted art shows to showcase their talent. Flyers announcing these events began to appear around town, promoting a festival dedicated to art that would celebrate not just Mia's mural but all forms of creative expression. As excitement swelled around this newfound culture of art, Karen watched with growing frustration. Once convinced that sidewalk art was an eyesore, she now found herself in a world where creativity thrived and was celebrated. Yet, instead of finding joy in the community's transformation, she felt isolated, grappling with her view on what beauty and expression truly meant. Little did she know that her perspective might soon be challenged in ways she never expected. As weeks turned into months, the vibrant mural began to change under the influence of nature. Rain drizzled down from the skies, washing over the colorful flowers and butterflies that had delighted the community for so long. Slowly, parts of the mural began to fade, their once vibrant hues transforming into soft pastels, and some sections completely vanished into puddles on the sidewalk. The community initially felt a pang of sadness as bits of the artwork disappeared. Residents had come to cherish the mural as a source of joy, it was a constant reminder of creativity and unity. However, as time passed, they began to view the fading mural as a reflection of life itself, beautiful but temporary. Conversation sparked about the nature of art, embracing its transient qualities, and how every creation holds its own moment in time. Children who had once gathered around to draw flowers now expressed interest in creating new murals, understanding that their art could be just as fleeting and cherished. They roamed the neighborhood with chalk in hand, inspired to capture moments through their creations before they washed away or faded like the original mural. Meanwhile, Karen observed this shift in perspective from her porch. The rhythm of life brought by nature had changed how people viewed public art. She found herself contemplating what it meant to create something beautiful, even if it wouldn't last forever. This contemplation began to stir something within her. The seeds of change planted by the very art she had once scorned began to take root in her heart. As the days passed and the mural continued to fade, Karen found herself observing her neighbors with a new perspective. She noticed children laughing together as they created their own art, and families gathering to enjoy the beauty that had once seemed so bothersome to her. The joyous atmosphere enveloped the neighborhood, and it dawned on her that art was doing something powerful. It was bringing people together despite their differences. One afternoon, while sipping tea on her porch, Karen watched as a small group of children worked together on a new chalk mural at the park. Their faces lit up with excitement as they shared ideas, each child contributing their unique vision. She realized how much joy art brought into their lives and how it connected them in a way she had never thought possible. The playful energy filled the air with laughter and camaraderie. Feeling inspired, Karen decided to step outside and join them. As she approached, the children welcomed her with smiles, offering her a piece of chalk. "Come draw with us," one exclaimed. Hesitant but curious, Karen found herself sketching alongside them. In that moment, she experienced a sense of liberation, free from judgment or expectations. The transformation from being the grumpy neighbor to someone who actively participated in creativity felt profound. She began to appreciate not just the final artwork but also the connections formed through artistic expression. It became clear to her that creativity could bridge gaps and foster understanding in ways she had previously overlooked. In embracing this newfound appreciation for art, Karen discovered that beauty could flourish in unexpected places, uniting even the most unlikely individuals through shared joy and creativity. As the neighborhood continued to flourish in creativity and camaraderie, the lessons learned by both Karen and the children became evident. Through art, they discovered the incredible power of connection, kindness, and acceptance. The once grumpy neighbor had transformed into a beloved figure who now embraced the beauty of creativity. Karen found herself not only participating in art but also encouraging others to express themselves without fear of judgment, fostering a welcoming environment for everyone. The children flourished as well, drawing inspiration from one another and realizing how their artwork could uplift spirits and create friendships. They learned that creating together was just as important as the final piece. It was the shared laughter, ideas, and experiences that truly made their efforts special. The vibrant culture of art in the neighborhood had instilled a sense of pride and belonging, uniting families and individuals from diverse backgrounds. Community events blossomed around artistic expression, with local galleries showcasing children's art and festivals celebrating creativity becoming a norm. Residents gathered to share their stories, strengthening bonds and understanding across differences. The spirit of collaboration was palpable, everyone felt a sense of ownership in their shared space. In this ever-evolving narrative, Karen realized that the mural's fading colors served as a metaphor for life itself, beautiful but fleeting. The joy it brought would linger long after its disappearance, leaving behind a legacy of community spirit that could never be washed away. Through art, they had created not just a brighter neighborhood but a family united in kindness and understanding.